right, lovelies, let's go ahead and get started. For those of you that don't have the French tip, no worries. No worries. If you have the French tip, fabulous. I gave a student one of the students mine, so I don't have the French tip. I can show you how to make it really fast. You're going to need your white though. Don't pour it out. You're just going to work out of your container. If you have your French tip, ignore what I'm saying. Keep setting up. If you don't have your French tip, very quickly, and it's not going to be perfect, season your brush. Pick you up a nail, a bead, and you're going to just add a French tip really fast. Don't try to make it perfect, just add some white at the tip. Not a big deal, okay? If you don't have your French tip. If you have your French tip, you are perfect. We will be using that French tip. Oops. Doesn't need to be perfect, just put it on there so the white is on there. Okay. Alright, so for the rest of you, if you already have your French tip, you're perfect. Okay, that's the one you're going to use. What we're going to start off with is breaking the rule. So we have our clear with glitter. We're going to start with our glitter acrylic. Okay. Your client comes in and she picks her art. Okay, whatever art she picks is what you need to add to the nail. Oh. She wanted Valentine's or whatever you pick. Great. Before you start, let's take a look to see what nail design or art are you going to use. I'm going to do the X's and the O's. I'm going to do some lips. And I'm going to do a heart. Perfect. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? So line it up, put it outside, put it ready so that way you can just grab it and apply. For those of you that had to create your acrylic nail tip, then it is settling in. Again, just throw it on there. Don't try to make it perfect. We don't have the time for that today. The reason why we're using French tip is because it's a white background. Do you guys remember when you did your French tip, but it was with glitter? And you couldn't really see, like it didn't like stand out as much. Like you saw it was glitter, but it wasn't like bright glitter. Okay? When you put a background color under glitter, that glitter will pop more. White would be that color. So that's how we're doing our French tip. Now I know that some of you have already filed, buffed, put your top coat on. Let's pretend that's not there. Let's pretend, just for time, that we put our pink down, we cut it, we put our white French tip. That's where we're at. Let's just pretend. Whether you have it or you don't have it, doesn't matter, okay? Alright, we're going to start off with whatever brush size of your choice that you choose. We're going to season our brush. We are breaking the rule. The rule is that with acrylic, because it is not a liquid, it is more of a solid, like Play-Doh, we don't brush, we tap. Today we're going to brush. You know that when you brush, you expand the bristles open, the acrylic gets in the bristles. By the time you get from pinky to pinky, it hardens. And then what do you do if you don't have another brush? You pat. Today we are going to brush to cover the entire white tip with glitter. You're brushing, glitter's getting all in here. We gotta wipe. Okay? So, you're gonna pick up some monomer. A little bit, because we need a thin layer of glitter. Mine's blue, yours is pink. Just a little bit. Drop off the bead. And you're going to brush tap, swipe, whatever you gotta do to move that glitter into position. Wipe, 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 wipe your brush. You are brushing. You are pushing with the tip of your brush. You know you're not supposed to do that. Okay, you're keeping it within your white. Now, if your French tip was not perfect, the glitter will kind of hide that imperfection. So you're just taking it and spreading out that glitter. Wipe, 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 wipe. Just like when you go to the dollar store and you buy that cheap glitter polish and you're trying to like smear the glitter specks on the nail. Before this dries, I'm going to pick my acrylic. I'm going to pick my little gummies. These are called gummies, and I'm going to press down. Usually with the tweezers is best, but we're using our fingers so you can see how hard it is. You pick it up and you press it down. Because the acrylic will harden, the acrylic serves as glue. So you did two things. You smeared the acrylic glitter just to put some color down. It's on the white, so it really pops out. If you need more, obviously you can do a thicker layer. Because the acrylic is wet, I put my art, these are called gummies, on top. Gummies are, they're rubbery, so some of them do bend. Some of them are really thick and some of them are really thin. It just depends on how they cut it and which ones you get and what brand you get. They come in you can see what we have over there, all kinds of different sizes and shapes and, little things and whatnot. We have to let it harden. Because imagine they just laid down a fresh bed of cement. And you go and you walk on the cement and you're wearing little ballerina shoes. And what happens to your shoes as you're walking? You get stuck in the cement. If you don't pull your shoe out, can your shoe come out later? Nope, because it's cemented, it's hard, and you can't take the shoe out. So that's this concept. We lay down the acrylic, we put the art, we pressed down on it, and it's cementing and solidifying together. Okay, so we are now going to encapsulate. Kim comes in, she wants a little lip on the tip of her nail. I put it on there, she goes home. What happens when she puts her hand in the pocket? It pops off. What happens when she goes and scratches and picks something up? Changes the diaper, wipes herself. Goes, go outside and play ball or something. Goes swimming. Eats pizza. You turn it to the side. Look at what is sticking up because you put a flat item on a curved surface. What happens when she washes her hair? Oh, that's going to pop out because that hair's going to get stuck. Right? That's just how it is. So, we do an encapsulation, and in Spanish is encapsular. Okay, so you're going to encapsulate it. You're going to add a protective barrier of clear acrylic over the top. Now, I had switched Naila's clear because her clear is kind of like your box clear. It's like weird, so I'm using a different one, but it's old, so it's kind of yellow. So I'm working with what I have. Okay. All right, so we're going to take and we're going to encapsulate. We're making a sandwich. We had acrylic, we have our art, we're going to add a layer of acrylic. But this time, just for today, we are only going to encapsulate the French tip area. Only the white part. Okay? So, get your brush, pick up a bead, and I'm going to start on the left side. I'm going to drop off a bead on the left side. I'm going to wipe, 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 wipe. I'm no longer brushing, I am patting and tapping. Spreading that acrylic upwards to cover my entire smile line. Wipe, wipe, wipe. Tap on the side to make sure it's parallel. And tap on the tip to make sure it maintains the shape that my nail previously had. Tap, tap, tap on the top. Bird's eye view. Make sure you keep it in line. Okay. Then you're going to take a second bead, pick up another bead of acrylic, clear. You're going to drop that off on the right side. And you're going to come in and you're going to tap, tap, tap. Continuing. Now let's say that your bead of acrylic was too small, like so, and you didn't get all the way across. Can you add another bead? Yeah, absolutely. You add as many beads as possible or as needed. I know that on social media, when you watch videos, it's one big old bead. They start at the cuticle, they drag it all the way to the tip, and they're done. Because they've done it for a long time. They have the brush, appropriate brush. They have the practice. When you're starting out, you can't do that. A baby doesn't just start running around, right? It's got to learn to walk. So tap, tap, tap. Tap on the sides. Make sure you encapsulate the sides. Tap on the tip, the tippy tip. Make sure there's no acrylic on the bottom. And you are covering your gummy. You do not want your gummy exposed. Okay? That is called encapsulation. You're making a sandwich. Miss, what can I encapsulate? Anything, literally. Have y'all seen those, I'll keep wanting to say accordion, those scorpion nails, where it's a real scorpion that is in the nail? They take a scorpion and they encapsulate it in the nail, and you have scorpion nails. Or maybe you've seen the money nails where they cut up a $100 bill and then put the little, $100 on the nail and they encapsulate it. That's encapsulation. I can take a picture of my husband, Charles, right? And I can print it teeny tiny and I can cut it out and I can put it right here and I can encapsulate it and I have him with me everywhere I go. You can do anything. You can encapsulate anything. What I would not encapsulate is like liquid food stuff, that bacteria. Okay, that'll mold, fungus, all that stuff, right? But you literally can encapsulate anything. Now, take a look at, while that's hardening, take a look at the thickness of one of the gummies that you have in your container. That is pretty darn thick. So if you have a thick base layer, and then you have a thick gummy, and then you have to put acrylic over the top of that, that's a thick nail. So the nail we did earlier, right, that's pretty thick. It's a thick nail, okay? So be mindful when you're choosing your gummies. For example, let's look at this little heart. It's much thinner than this purple flower. I mean, the thickness is just, you can definitely see the thickness in that. So compare some of the gummies in your container. They are all flexible, but the heart really bends. So I can push the heart down to match the curvature of the nail, and I'm going to teach you how to do that now. So the next thing we're going to do, now that we've finished the tip, I think everybody's done, we're going to learn something new. Acrylic is acrylic. When you put it down, you know it gets hard. Acrylic can be used as glue. Okay? We're going to take a small bead of the clear acrylic. We're going to drop it down where I want to put my art, like a bead of glue. And then I'm going to take my art and I'm going to put my art over that glue. I'm going to take the back of my brush and I'm going to press down for it to hold. Okay? So, you take a little teeny tiny bit of clear, itty bitty. We're going to press down the glue, wipe your brush. You're going to take your art, put it over the bead of acrylic, and you're going to press it down. Now your bead of acrylic is going to be wet. So you need to take your brush or tool and you need to hold downward. Okay? Put your bead down. That's stuck on my brush. Put your bead down. Put your art on top. And voila, we'll stick it down. Because this particular gummy is, I'm being dread. Because this particular gummy is flexible, you have that ability to drop down and mold. But you can't do that with all of your designs. I lost my little thing here. Remember that acrylic is self-leveling. It will continue to move until it gets hard. So don't let go yet. You have to wait for it to fully harden, because if not, it will continue to move. Depending on the material, some will stick really well, some won't stick as well. If you're using a pearl, you know Olaf, when he's starting to melt and his eyeball is like rolling off the side of his body and his nose is going the other direction and his hands are falling and dripping. It's kind of like that. So if I were to put a different type of material on here, it might not always stick. It might roll off. It might be a little bit more difficult to stick. But this is the technique that you can do. The gummies, if you have a gummy that is like the little hearts or little flowers, they stick better. These particular gummies that are softer, they tend not to stick as great. So again, don't buy something on the internet or wherever at the nail supply and bring it to your station and think, oh, when Kim comes on Friday, she wanted hearts. I'm gonna put these hearts on her. I've never worked with them, but I'm gonna put them on her. No, practice. Practice with the tool or the product or the thing before your client is in front of you. Because what if it doesn't stick? You're going to panic in front of your client. She's right in front of you. She can see everything. You can't hide it. Always practice. Okay? Let's say you didn't practice. And I'm sitting here and I'm putting the heart on the client. Kim is right in front of me. She can see my boogers and everything. Okay? I'm putting this little heart on and look, what's happening? What do you see? What do you see on the nail? It's not sticking. So dang. Now I've got to sit here and try to figure out, oh, I need to troubleshoot. What am I going to do? She's staring at me. My armpits start tingling. I'm getting nervous. I'm starting to panic. She's going to think, I don't know what I'm doing. Always, always, always come and play with the things before you put it in front of a client. It'll stick eventually. It just takes a long time. Alright, once you've stuck your thing down, this isn't going to stick, by the way. Once you stick the thing down, what you're going to do is you're going to come and you're going to get a big bead of acrylic, the biggest bead of acrylic that you can possibly get. And what you're going to do is I'm going to use my big brush. You use whatever brush you want. You're going to cover the whole base, this whole pink part, which is, if you have the French tip, then it's this section here. And if you don't have the French tip, then it's the brown section, okay? So, season your brush if you need to season it. Grab you a big bead of clear. You're going to start at the cuticle area. You're going to drop down your bead. Wipe, 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 wipe. We are not brushing anymore. We're going back into our tapping motions. Okay? You want to work around the art, making sure that you push the acrylic underneath if it is something that is sticking up, because it needs reinforcement at the bottom. If you don't put reinforcement at the bottom, it's going to stick up too much. It's going to flare up slightly. So you want to make sure that if there's a gap underneath the art, you push acrylic under that gap. Once you are happy with your cuticle area, then you can move on past the cuticle area. Hold the finger downward. If you need to use 10 different beads at one time, use 10 different beads. It does not matter if you use 10 beads, 20 beads, 7 beads. It doesn't matter, okay? As long as whenever you are creating the design, you blend your beads, you cover your area, your space, and it looks like a cohesive piece. Tap, tap, tap on the sides, making sure that you cover the side of the nail, blending that base to the French tip area. Look at it like it's gonna poke you in the eyeball. Make sure that as you are applying your bead, you're wiping your brush. Tap on the sides because you want a parallel track on the sides, like a train track. Check your cuticle area. Does it have a bump or does it have a ramp or does it have a gap? Remember, you're working with clear, so sometimes you can't really see that gap. Move the finger around, blend it. Nothing is wrong until you let the client walk out. You let the client walk out and it's wrong, then it's wrong. Anytime you make a mistake, don't worry about having to do something to fix it. Just make sure to fix it. Don't let the client leave like that. If there's any gaps or holes that you have between the top and the bottom, fill them in. Take the finger and hold it sideways and rotate it. Does it look flush? All right, does it look like it's one bead, one single bead that you applied, and you have that nice, even, smooth shape? Now, when you're turning it over, I did it better last class, I didn't do so good this class, but when you're doing it, when you're checking, and you're putting your art, see I have the heart here, but I don't have anything else anywhere else. Turn it sideways. Because the heart is so 3D, there is a dip. I've got my heart, it's 3D. Then I've got this big old dip, and then I have my lips. It's 3D, flat, 3D. Can't have that. How do you fix it? Put another bead of acrylic. So we're going to take another bead of acrylic. Okay. We're going to place that at our gap. We're holding the finger sideways. And we're going to blend it in. Tap, tap, tap. So as I'm blending in, I still want to make sure to tap, tap, tap. Wipe my brush. I'm tapping on the sides, making sure that I have a nice parallel side. I make sure my beads are blended. I look at the side, and now I do not have that gap. Now, what if you put another bead and you don't have a gap, you now have a bump because it's too much? That's fine. You can always file that off. That's not a problem. You can't scrape things off or scoop things off. You can do it on the ends, but in the middle kind of leaves indentations or marks. So just leave it if it's a little bit too much, and then you can just file it off. Remember that the acrylic will continue to move until it completely hardens. Okay. Take a look at the nail sideways and turn the nail. Does your art stick out? Is it sticking out? If it's sticking out, that's not good. Because as soon as you come file, you're going to start to file off the art. Where's the other one? For example, here. Okay, the heart is literally right at this corner. So I'm going to start my filing. Right, I cover all my stuff and all the things, right? I'm going to start my filing. Let's say that I'm going to file the top surface. Okay, let's see what happens. So I'm going to file, filing the cuticle area. I feel something weird. What am I filing into? Yeah, the heart. So as I'm filing into the heart, I'm exposing the gummy, and then why?
9:30, ADA attendance reminder.
Why did I encapsulate? I'm exposing the heart because my clear layer was too thin. Okay, so pay attention to the placement of where you're placing your art. Make sure that you have a thick enough layer that you are able to protect that art And even when you come and you file and you buff and do all the things, you're not going to damage what's underneath. Okay? Keep in mind the curvature of the nail sideways and front to back. That makes a big difference. Questions? That's all I have for you for today. You have 10 minutes. If you're going to reboot, you can stop there. The rest of you have 10 more minutes. You're going to take a nail tip and you're going to encapsulate once more. This time you don't have a base. Take your glitter, smear a layer of glitter, put your art, and then a layer of clear on top. Take your glitter, brush, smear a layer of glitter for background. You're going to attach your art, and then you're going to encapsulate. Okay? Let me take attendance.